The house is a mess after an awesome birthday weekend. My wife comes home and sees that the kitchen is clean. Baby, I was going to clean the kitchen. What are you doing? Girl, I am disabled, but...
Flies me, ain't a nigga cold as me, ain't another nigga got a swag quite like. But hold up, that's the way I feel. But hold up, but that's the way I feel.
Yo, back swinging and banging on the ones and twos. Allow me to reintroduce myself to you. It's Kendrick Avant, your agent of gratitude. While I exemplify gratitude, I'm exemplifying how a life of gratitude changes your whole perspective. And I'm here this time, folks, with my favorite podcast crew. And I'm talking about it's my favorite podcast crew because they're already married. It's not like they were like two besties that get into it or two friends that decide to start it up something. This is an actual real deal married couple busting out a fly podcast, man, that is about movies, series, Marvel, DC. I have used it myself before I watch movies with my kids. That way, when I talk to them, my kids get all super excited. Hey, Daddy does what's going on. I don't even know that shit. I just listened to their podcast. I was getting ready. I was brushing my teeth and everything, jamming the whole podcast. So I had been running my mouth enough, y'all. Allow me to let these two introduce themselves. I bring to you Break Out the Popcorn. Boom. Allow Ricko and Connie, introduce yourselves, please.
How's it going? I'm Rico from Break Out the Popcorn.
And I'm Connie.
From
Nice.
Break out the
Nice.
popcorn, I guess.
I didn't mean to talk so much. I got a little bit into it because I don't think y'all understand. I really do listen to y'all's podcast, and it really has like the Godzilla one got me. The Godzilla I was already listening, and the
Mhm.
Godzilla one I listened to, and my kids were like, "Dad, you want to watch the Godzilla thing?" I had no idea Godzilla and King Kong already knew each other. When I saw the movie, I'm just thinking, "Yo, two heavyweights, boom! It'll be like a Tyson fight."
Right.
I had no idea it went so deep with it, man. I had no idea it was a series going. I'm like, yo, mind blown. And I was reading comic books my whole life, man. I was a certified nerd. And
Man.
this one completely escaped me. I had no idea. What made y'all decide to even start a podcast together?
You want,
I think we just since we first started dating, we watched movies religiously. Like that
Mhm.
was our thing. And back when Netflix was still kind of blooming, we had all these DVDs. Like you would go to Redbox and pick up a movie because Blockbuster was gone by that
Yep.
point. But it was just something that I could dedicate my whole night to, and it just kind of evolved from there. Like movies have been our thing. I'm
Mhm.
not a huge movie person personally. Like don't tell my listeners that, but he forces me to watch movies. And so, I mean, it's just we like to talk about them. We're the worst people at movie theaters. We talk like that's why we sit so far away from other people because we like to
Mhm.
talk. And the whole ride back home, we just dissect everything.
Mhm.
And it's just might as well share that with the world.
Yeah. Um, for me, it was actually I have ADD. It was something that was undiagnosed by doctors, but little by little, just picking it up on my own, finding out, the ticks and quirks. I mean, you're able to like tell yourself, hey, like, more or less, I know what I got, and just ADD keeps me up at night
Hmm.
constantly. And it was one of those things where I was like, man, like, why is a femur so long? Like, why? Like, could Spider-Man actually be useful in Houston, Texas, when we don't have high skyscrapers and stuff? Like, my brain was always
Oh
racked with such
no.
random questions, right? And so originally I was like, man, like I know I'm destined to do something. I know like I need my voice to be heard. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do a podcast. And it was actually going to be called The Things That Keep Me Up at Night, which is still in the works. We're actually still going to go ahead and do that as soon as the first one gets, up and running. But it was going to be The Things That Keep Me Up at Night. The first episode was going to be dolphins. I have a severe fear of dolphins. And I was talking to Connie one day and we did all the notes for it. We did everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, okay, cool. I got this ready. I'm gonna do this. And then everything stopped coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
All the thoughts stopped. And so I was like, what's gonna be the second episode? What am I gonna talk about? What am I gonna do? And she was just like, well, let's just go watch a movie and think about it. And as we were watching the movie, it was just like, well, why don't we just do movie podcasts? We have like over 300 DVDs in our house. Let's just talk about movies all day. So
And then from there, it blossomed and took off.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Nice. I
that's
love
it.
that. I
Mhm.
absolutely love that one. Okay, so off script.
Mm-hmm.
Best way to put this. How do y'all decide what comes? Is it the type of things where I'm gonna show I'm gonna show my geekdom here.
Okay.
In all the rom-coms, when couples do things, it ends up being stuff like, "Hey, babe, if I can shoot this into the trash can, then I get to pick the podcast." Nah, if we do so and so, I get to do what we do in the bedroom and pick the podcast. Is that how y'all end up picking the episode? End up making the goofy type best between couples, and that's how it comes along, picking the subject material.
That would make things so much easier for us if we did.
It made me so much easier.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There are times when we butt heads over what we're doing because I
Right.
have a vision and he has a vision, and we have like a formula to doing certain things, but other things it's just, hey, we found this movie looked interesting, at
Hmm.
the movie theaters or Netflix or Hulu or whatever. We watched it and we're like, you know what? Let's cover this.
Right.
That's how it is. That's how it comes.
And honestly, I was trying to look around the room to see if I had it on me, but I have a voice recorder
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the ideas that spark are when I'm bored at work.
Yeah, I
So I
get
just
that.
yeah, so I just hit record and I'm like, okay, so really quick idea. What if we
Mm-hmm.
did Bird Box versus um
Quiet
Hush,
Place.
A Quiet Place, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and it just pops into my head. Or she'll be half asleep at night and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nah, Freddy versus Jason, he's chasing me," and I'm like, wait, Freddy versus Jason, record that. Okay, we're gonna do this.
He'll like roll over, and be like, "Can you say that one more time for the voice
Yeah,
recorder?"
I'm actually very annoying with my voice
He
recorder.
really is. Yeah, and then we just go to the back stock and be like, we have a whiteboard in our room that
Hmm.
we write down random shit on, and so yeah, you just go back to the back stock and be like, okay, well, I guess we can do this time.
Right.
I found this movie.
Hmm. We actually were going to, because we wanted to start branching off into like live streams on TikTok or Instagram and stuff like that. So something that we were thinking about doing was maybe getting a spin wheel and
Hmm.
just writing a whole bunch of like movies that people thought about that they wanted to hear covered, and we would just spin it and see what they wanted
Yeah,
or whoever wanted.
or a
Yeah.
dartboard, something
Hmm.
like that.
Like the Monopoly. What's that? The Wheel of Fortune type thing. You have
Yeah.
Yeah.
ideas on it.
Hmm.
Okay, I dig that.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
dig that. Yo,
Different ways.
question, Rico. You mentioned ADD. Look,
Yes,
man, I
sir.
have severe anxiety. I didn't grow up with it since I've as my illness, and because I have primary progressive multiple sclerosis. So, yo, man, I get sick as fuck, dude,
Hmm.
and the anxiety gets to a ridiculous level. The way my wife is not the best at calming an anxious person down. That actually, like, I get on her nerves quicker than do it. Like me,
Hmm.
the tears, the nervousness, the freaking out, she can't deal with it. But what does calm me down is just sitting there and watching crime shows, like the actual
Hmm.
mystery, like Snapped, anything where a couple, somebody in a couple dies, either the man or the woman dies.
Hmm.
I gotta have the mystery solved. If the mystery
Hmm.
is not solved, yo man, it's like that kicks off my anxiety.
Hmm.
But
Right.
the whole thing is that we learned that we can calm my anxiety down just by watching things together. And so it makes
Hmm.
me think about which does that help y'all with the relationship with ADD, and does that ever cause relationship issues, and does watching these things help you with your ADD?
So My ADD is one of those things where I get very overwhelmed, and it's a nice little I call it my little cocktail of destruction because it's ADD, depression, and anxiety.
Oh man.
And whenever I get depressed, it's usually from the anxiety attack that I
Yep.
get. And the number one thing that calms down my depression or anxiety attack, whether it's like recreational or whether it's like doing something, one of the biggest factors that stops it is the ADD. So they kind of like work each other out. The ADD will stop the depression. The depression will take my brain away from something and make me focus. It's all just a little cocktail of destruction,
Yep.
mentally.
Yep. I can
And
see I can see it already.
right. And so usually it's one of those things where I get too overwhelmed to as far as ADD goes. I get too overwhelmed and I can't really watch anything. It's more like I need to just be still. I need to just soak everything in and then let it all out at once. And that's usually what helps that. But as far as like depression and anxiety and stuff like that, my wife will be like, "Hey, let's go watch Naruto," because we
Mhm.
love anime now. I just got her into anime. I've been in anime. We'll watch that, or we'll watch like Mayans or Squid Games is something that we recently got into too.
So there is hope for the rest of us.
Right.
Kinda.
Mhm.
You're giving the rest of us hope because my wife is not trying to watch it. The kids have seen Squid Games. Like our kids
Oh
have
man.
talked cracking jokes on us about Squid Games. Y'all haven't seen Squid Games yet? Blah blah blah. We know Daddy is scared of scary movies, but he won't see that.
Oh.
Like yo, you want to go and watch it? No, it's not what I watch. Nope. You can watch Desperate Housewives with me, but I'm not watching that. No, no, no. So yeah, the Squid Games. Did y'all like it?
I haven't watched enough to
So
actually.
she hasn't
Hmm.
gone too far into it. I'm
Okay.
on like the first two episodes,
Oh,
and
snap! It's a series, not a
yeah,
movie.
uh-huh,
Oh, whoa! My kids are in trouble now.
yeah,
I thought it was like an hour and a half movie that maybe they had watched when I was
uh-uh.
Oh.
asleep or something. That means they put in work while.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a
Hmm.
pretty
Okay.
good show though. It gets you hooked from like the first episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Connie, do
What's
you
up?
ever have any worries about how Rico deals with the anxiety, the ADD? Does that make you a worrier, and were you a worrier before?
Oh yeah, like I even have really bad anxiety.
Okay.
So worrying about him, especially, when he's having really bad days at work, it, we're in a position at work where we can both call each other while still being
Nice.
at work and doing our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times we'll call and check in, and it sometimes gives me even more anxiety to know that he's going through something and that I'm not there to help,
Mm-hmm.
or at home when he's going through something. He's the type of person, like you said, he gets very overwhelmed. So you have to give him space sometimes.
Hmm.
And so it's a really fine line that I tread to make sure that he knows I love him. I'm here for him if he needs me, but I don't want to smother him. But yeah, it's
And sometimes I like to be smothered.
sometimes. I mean, you just gotta pick and choose when. That's it. But yeah, I mean, he keeps me on my toes a lot of the times because it's
Yeah.
a very easy spiral to fall into when something's going bad at work, and then life just keeps hitting you over and over
Yeah.
again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like you're reaching your hand down this dark tunnel to try to pull him up, and you just kind of hope that he can climb up with you pulling him. That's it.
Okay. I dig that. What do you do what are some self-care things that you do? So you're looking out for him, but you got work, you got y'all doing the podcast together. What are some
Mhm.
self-care things you do for yourself?
Look, for me personally, I like to read, and I'm not a movie person, but I'm a TV show person. So I have like my comfort shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like that's that's my shit. That's my
My
jam.
daddy likes
And
that.
yeah, it's just I know what's going to happen, and that's why like it makes me feel peaceful because I know the ending. I know what's going to end up happening. So I don't have to worry about, oh my God, what's the end of this movie like or the end of the show like. And reading a book kind of takes me into a whole nother place and lets my mind rest for a moment. It's just things like that, or honestly, even playing The Sims. That's it. Building a house.
And
So
that's the funny part is that her playing Sims is her being able to dictate exactly how
mhm.
things are gonna go.
Yeah, I can.
So
It
I
there's
can.
no surprises.
it
Okay.
gives me control over things. So I'm just letting my mind rest and just I know what's happening. I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress. And
Especially when you have cheat codes.
exactly, exactly. I don't have to worry about money when I got 50 grand in my bank account. I don't have to just deal with that. But I also personally, I have to physically remind myself with like alarms to take my anxiety medication to make sure I'm in
Mm,
a good spot to help him because if I don't
Yeah.
take that, then that's a whole nother issue.
Yep.
mhm.
The old people always tell us, you can't pour from an empty cup, baby. You
Hmm.
can't
Right.
pour from an
Yeah.
empty cup. Fill you up first.
It's like the
Yeah.
airplane thing, when the oxygen mask, they tell you to put yours on first before you help anybody else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the
Yeah. You
thing.
know what? Yeah. That's an excellent point. That's a
This is Kendrick Avant, your agent of gratitude, and I'm inviting you to check out my blog, allthingsonelove.com. It's titled All Things One Love because it is all the things one loves to keep your mindset over the bullshit. Wellness tips, yoga, meditation. Come check me out. Allthingsonelove.com.
great way of putting it. Great way of putting
Hmm.
it. Okay. Back to the podcast then. Now that I know how it got started, now that I know some bits about how you all work it out together, my next question is Marvel, DC. Are y'all a house divided on Marvel and DC, or are you together, or do you have some third party type thing that's popping and go? Because I mean, y'all just mentioned anime. Is it that beyond any of that?
Look, I love Marvel personally. I mean, DC's getting there. They have some hits recently, but Marvel has my heart. I'm not gonna lie, but what's a very close contender? Harry Potter.
Not
What?
even.
That Harry
I did
Potter is
not know
my
you were going to
thing.
go there. I
That
didn't see that one
poster
coming.
in the background, that's Harry Potter. That's dude, that is my stuff.
There's like so much
Absolutely.
Harry Potter stuff around here. It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh
Actually,
man.
I have my Harry Potter book right here too.
Hmm.
It's like an old battered copy. Keep it here because that's like my comfort thing. But yeah, I mean that's that and Star Wars for me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I love Star Wars. Love Harry Potter. I don't love Harry Potter. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's
I You love it for me.
I
That's
love it
it.
for you,
Yeah.
right? But personally, I'm a Marvel person. I love Marvel. I have Deadpool and Spider-Man posters everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, but I want to be hired on to DC so bad.
To
I
help
know
fix it,
exactly.
huh?
Yes, I can fix it in one solid go. I can fix entire DC movies. I can fix their franchises forever.
Have y'all seen any of the DC the one remember maybe for like a year or two DC had its own channel, DC Online or some shit like that?
Right.
And they came out with the DC like the Teen Titans, except it's just called the Titans and all of them.
Hmm.
Have y'all
Yeah.
seen any of those?
I watched a little
Mm.
They
bit of the
just got
Harley
moved to
Quinn show.
HBO.
Yeah, I saw the
Hmm.
Titans were on HBO now, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever those first like set pictures came out, it worried me.
It
It
did.
worried me
It
real
did.
bad
Yeah.
because like we grew up with like Teen Titans, like the cartoon,
Yeah.
and seeing that, it was just kind of like, oh, what's going on here?
Hmm.
It's like that Powerpuff Girls, like a live action. I was like, I don't want any part of this.
Ooh,
Right.
I don't
that
want to
was a
deal with
hell of
it.
a comparison.
Yeah.
I didn't know Powerpuff Girls even had a live action.
They were,
Oh
I think
wow,
it
It
got
got
stopped.
yeah, it got stopped real quick whenever they had the pilot leak
good.
and they were talking about like Buttercup uh having sex with some chick and one of the
No,
girls walked in and everybody's like, "Whoa, whoa, this is a kids show.
this is not where we're
Whoa,
going
where
with
did
this.
this go?"
Yo,
I
man,
mean, that's on my list though.
that DC thing is not a kid show. So
No.
Mm-mm.
I watched maybe 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 episodes of DC of the DC Titans.
Hmm.
I only know what I know about the Titans comes from my kids watching the teen. That's like two Teen Titans.
Right.
One of them is real cool, funny, like it keeps us rolling and laughing. And they have another
Mhm.
Teen Titans where the cartoon is not quite as cool.
Mhm.
I call it the bootleg Titans. Either way, the one that came with the DC with the straight people, they didn't even want to get involved with it because it was real people versus anime, and I
Mhm.
got into it quick because I mean it. Starfire has, I think that's her name, is the girl
Right.
Starfire. She's
The
now
red
Mhm.
the
hair.
black chick on. Yeah, she's
Hmm.
like now the black chick. Yo, she has some amazing sex scenes, and I ended up stopping it because I was like, yo, I'm watching this for the wrong reason. Like I almost feel like I feel like I'm perverting my kids' shows. I want this for like the wrong reason. She and Robin, I mean, and
They're getting it.
yeah, man,
Damn.
and he's like, and she's super duper aggressive. She comes at him, and Robin is always like, oh no, I don't, we shouldn't be doing this. And I mean, she's like on him. I mean, this, which is
So
not
I'm
quite the way the cartoon worked at
so I'm
all.
about to
I mean,
show
it didn't work
my
like
my
that at all.
geekdom. Um, I actually just recently. So again, it comes back to like ADD and stuff and being at work. So when I can't call her, I like go on YouTube
Hmm.
and I have a watch later list that's like 3 miles long. And exactly. And so a lot of it ends up being like comics. So I'll get hyper focused into one thing.
Hmm.
So currently I'm on Italian mobsters. I don't know why. I watch like 40 things of Italian mobsters, and the next day it's like 40 episodes on guns and then like comics and stuff like that. But it's funny you mentioned Starfire being aggressive, but because in the comics, that's exactly how she is.
Really?
Like, yeah, so sex to her is just like reading a book or watching a TV show.
Oh, so she's supposed to be like that,
Right. And it's not
huh?
even like the person she's with. It's like it could be just somebody walked in the room and she's like, "Hey, you want to do it?" And they're like, "Wait, what? No, what? Huh?" And she's like, "Okay, so is that a yes or no?" Like, I just gotta know.
I mean, they're watching some more tonight. See,
It's
see.
look, you're just doing research to make sure it's true to the comics.
Right. That's
That's
all
it.
it
Exactly.
is.
That's
Exactly.
it.
I had no idea that the animated series, kind of perverted and slowed down what was already going
Mhm.
down. I had
Mhm.
no idea. I had no idea about that. Yo, my next question is this. What are y'all's tips for concentrating on a movie or a series or a show? Or do y'all just end up giving up on it? Example. If I'm trying to, of course, we don't have a podcast, but my wife, we have a common 15-minute rule for anything that I want to get into. If I'm showing something to her, I got, I don't even know why she calls it 15 minutes. It's really more like the 5-minute rule. If she's not into it within, she says 15 minutes, then it's out. It's curtain for that thing, and she's never going to come back to it. Like that is it.
Mhm.
Do y'all have moments like that do y'all have to actually work through, or do y'all just say, you know what? Nah, let's cut this and move on to the next
I threw it all in my wedding vows.
one? I'm gonna let you explain that one.
uh, I told her that she had to be my podcast host forever in the wedding vows. I was like, hey, you're my best friend. You're the love of my life. You're my podcast host forever.
And I promised I would watch Naruto. And I look, I know this is controversial, but I am not an anime fan. I never could get into it when I was younger. But
She
I was
couldn't,
like, I told him in the wedding vows, I was like, I promised to try to watch Naruto.
and
And
now she's hooked.
it took me a couple episodes. And I'm not gonna lie, there are times when there are things that he's watching that he's like, "Oh, you would really like this," and I try to watch it, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not for me." But he'll put it on while I'm like playing on my phone or
Hmm.
something, and I'll slowly get interested, and I'm like, "Can we go back and watch a few like of the beginning episodes?" Like that's happened with so many series for us that it's
Yeah,
just put it on in the background. Don't force me, but I'm gonna pick up on something I might like
right.
to listen to.
Like Mayans. We're currently on
Mhm.
Mayans.
Or The Boys. We watched The Boys on Amazon, and it
Hmm.
was fantastic. But it's a really gory superhero show,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I was like, this isn't for me. I don't like this. But then a few episodes in, I just caught him watching it, and I was like, maybe I could pay attention for a
Yeah.
couple seconds, see what I can do. But there are some things for him that I love that he just can't get into. He can't get into Buffy. He lies and tells me he's trying. I know he's not.
I do
He falls
definitely
asleep.
try.
Falls asleep within 3 minutes.
It's a good
That's
show to
it.
fall asleep to.
Call that
Sometimes
joint.
you gotta throw in the towel.
Old man told me not come to sleep but a dream. So when you see that paint gleam, just know I'm living my dream. Nigga flies me, ain't a nigga cold as me, ain't another nigga got a swag quite like. But hold up, that's the way I feel. But hold up, but that's the way I feel.